Everybody, it's Robert Klein. So now I'm going to talk about how I actually purchased my first property and how I royally screwed it up. I actually ended up sitting down with an old client of mine in, I'd say, August of 2008. And I was in traditional financial services back then, and well, not back then, but he was my client from that. And pretty much everything I told him from an investment point of view, from the mutual fund side and life insurance, pretty much did not come true. So I thought that there had to be some sort of answer somewhere, and I knew Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I read all of his books, but I never really did anything about it. So in September 2008, I went through all of his books again, all of his audios, all of his CDs, everything, and pretty much got an idea of what I was supposed to be looking for, or I was really trying to look for cash flow. That was my idea. The problem was I'm from Vancouver, and being from Vancouver, you don't have things like cash flow, or that's what I thought at the time. So what I did, I went through 700 MLS listings over in the month. I printed out a top 100 list, printed them out. I called 100 realtors and got all the numbers for all of these 100 properties. And then from these numbers, I was able to determine value. So really from comparisons, I was able to create value. And from that, I built a top 10 list. And for the most part, a lot of that top 10 list based on cash flow without any other experience was in the bad area of Winnipeg. And so from that point, I purchased one for my client and one for myself. And even though I did all of that research, I thought, as much, read all the books, did all of that stuff, by far, all that research equaled, by far, the worst one I've ever done. So that's sort of how I got myself into real estate. So far up to this date, I've worked on 17 properties in that area, and now I'm actually working a lot more in the Vancouver side. So from this point, all the other videos will be talking more about my experiences. So this is actually how I came about getting my first property. So the biggest thing about acquiring my first property was the fact that I actually acquired my first property, because it really gave me the leeway to learn from all my mistakes and really go from there. So if you're in the process of buying your first property, feel free to give us a call. I can sit down with you and talk you through and see if I can help you optimize what you're going to actually purchase.